Welcome to the Wise Take DFS podcast. I am your host, CK013. You can find me on Twitter at CK_013. And I'm joined once again by my boy, everybody's favorite CashinDFS. You can find him on Twitter at CashinDFS. Cashin, how you doing?
All right.
Back to the one words. We got a special guest tonight, making his, I think it's his first NBA podcast. We did it. He was on the NFL lineup review show on Monday. He was the Wise Take Nation knows who he is because he's already been on some Wise streams. But I'm talking about Johnny the Greek. He's a DFS professional, as in DFS is his job. You can find him on Twitter at GDaddy80. Johnny won about, we'll just say he had a nice six-figure win on, what was it, last Sunday? Week 9, was it, Johnny?
9, yeah.
Week 9. So I think that, that's got Johnny even more hungry, surprisingly, to make more money and to help the nation, more importantly. Johnny, how you doing, brother?
I'm well. I've done a couple of these shows now with Cashin and you and TC as well. So I think this is my third YouTube show.
Yeah, but isn't this the first NBA podcast though? I know you did the Wise streams.
No,
that's not the first one.
I think this is my third one.
Oh.
Yeah, I think this is my third one.
Oh, okay. My bad.
You do so many shows. I mean, I did a show earlier today, and then I did a football show on Saturday. So I think they all kind of run in together.
They do.
Yeah.
I'm on every one in every aspect. Either if I'm not actually hosting it, I'm at least running the program. So yeah, man, it's like, honestly, it's like all one. My life is like one big show. It's basically like, it's just stream, hours in between, record, and I love it, man. I wouldn't change it for the world. But yeah, by the way, that doesn't make this show any less special for me. It doesn't. It's still just as special, Johnny.
And I apologize to the viewers now that I was supposed to be on the football show earlier, and I was having some technical difficulties. I wasn't able to make it to that show. So don't worry, we have something special coming up later that I'm going to make it up to all your viewers.
Yes. Johnny's got a contest he's going to run that I think you guys are going to like. So you're going to want to stay tuned. We're gonna go over it at the end of the show. So that's going to be Johnny's little makeup gift for his technical difficulties earlier. We've had a lot of technical difficulties, Cash, yesterday between me and you. Cash's camera and then the stream I was running cut out. We had all kinds of problems yesterday, but we made it work. We did it live, and it was fun, and we got through it. It was a good show too. It was. So we do what we do. We deal with it. That's what Wise Take does. We do what we got to do. Johnny has technical difficulties for one show. Boom, he's right back. But a couple hours later, figuring it out. Why? For the nation, for the Wise Take Nation. All right, guys. So we got a 2-game slate. We got plenty of time here. Obviously, we're not going to talk necessarily, but I'd like to take some time on these shorter slates to kind of go into the strategy a little bit. Obviously, in the grind of every day, people seem to get caught up with trying to catch people's picks and like who they like, and not necessarily why they like them. And there's even times where even for us, like, we don't have as much time to explain why we like a play or things like that as much as we want to. And at Wise Take for our premium members, we try to make sure on the Wise streams to do that. That's why we started about an hour and a half before and kind of walk them through thought processes and things like that. But on the podcast, a lot of times you got these big slates and you got to get through them. And so sometimes, you're just kind of going over some of the options and we don't get as much time to be as thorough. So Johnny, I'm going to start with you, man. I just want you to just kind of tell us, we'll just skip right to the 2-game slate aspect. We got a 2-game slate here. How does your approach change? Or does it change at all? Like obviously, but the pricing is different. We know that raw points matter a little bit more, I think. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think trying to find that value by just underpriced a little bit. But I think, we're always so concerned about ownership. And I think with these 2-game slates, just understand that everybody's going to be highly owned. So just the 1 or 2 differential plays that you're going to make can either make or break your lineup. So just understand that. And there are a couple plays that we were going over before the show that we all think are definitely something that can get you going towards a play that is going to be a little bit lower owned just because of injury or whatever it may be. So definitely, I would say that don't be afraid to play the chalk because everybody's chalk.
Yeah, fair enough. Cash, any comments?
I mean, yeah, I mean it's all about raw points because it's 2 games, and everybody's gonna be owned. But I just try to fade who I think has the best chance of underperforming. Like I mean, I don't have no problem with chalk if I think that they're gonna do what I need them to do. But if it's a guy that can bust, I will fade it. That's about it. I mean, it's hard. I mean, it's practically impossible to win a huge tournament on a 2-game slate. I mean, it's not impossible, but it ain't easy. Like, to win a huge donkey, like, you're gonna have to have something off the wall that does work.
You know, it's funny. I find that me personally, like, I think it was the last 3-game slate we had, and I looked at some of the winning lineups, and like, I feel like sometimes people get caught up in playing guys that like nobody's ever heard of and trying to get that edge, and like I think sometimes it's more so about the combination of guys you pick. And don't get me wrong, like raw score is definitely important, but like I look at the top and I know every one of those players. Like, he didn't play some guy that I didn't know or never heard of. Like, I know every one of those guys. You know, like,
yeah, but I don't want to tie. I don't want to tie with 300 people. Like, I want to be up there alone.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
No,
but I mean, yeah, it's impossible. The way I play, it's almost impossible to do it. So yeah.
I hear you, man. 2-game slates for me, I hate them. I just don't like them. You know, it's funny. I find that like for instance, I know like my brother-in-law, for instance, he recently started playing when he started using our products and things like that. And he plays casually. He likes and he found that he likes like double ups and things like that. Like he feels more comfortable, and he's been doing pretty good using like all these cheat sheets, things like that. That's all he's been using. And like he's got a basic knowledge of basketball. Like he's a basketball fan, so he knows the game. Like, you know, and so I found that like he always tells me that he gets excited for these kind of slates, and I think it's because the decisions are a little easier to him because, you know, like, you know, most of the guys, and there's not very many to choose from. So I think for newer players, like a lot of people like they think that these slates are easier because I think in the beginning all you're really concerned about is min cashing. You just want to cash it all in the beginning, like, 'cause it's just like. And it's easier, I guess, for them to do that because they don't have to worry about chalk because you have to play the chalk more or less. So they don't think about that kind of stuff. They just play. Like, oh, I know this guy. I don't know this guy. I'm going to play the guy I know. I'm going to play LeBron. I'm going to play Harden. I'm going to play whoever it is on that 2-game slate. But then I find, like for me personally, like these drive me crazy because then I find that I often overthink things because I'm like, well, now how can I get different? And then I try to get too different. And then I play a guy that, you know, a Michael Beasley, who doesn't get on the court but 6 minutes. Like, you know. So I feel like that's kind of like that's kind of my thing with 2-game slates that I always try to keep aware of. Like, I know I have a tendency to overthink them at times, so I try to be conscious of that going in. Is there anything like Johnny, from you maybe, like is there any like rule of thumb on 2-game slates that you just kind of stick to no matter what, or is it just slates are too different, you can't do that?
Well, it really depends on what that individual slate is dictating to you. I mean, you have to play the cards that are dealt to you, just like in poker, you know. So, every slate dictates a different system for me, you know. And you're only going to learn these things by playing them. So, for instance, you know, when we're playing at these small slates, you know, and this is going to probably correlate more with NFL than probably NBA. But in today's slate, there is correlation between both of them. So you're definitely going to look for something that has like a red O or Q by it, and then you pick up and you know that person's actually maybe going to play or possible to play. And they have that red notation there all day long on DraftKings. No one's going to play them. And, you know, that's a big strategy in football. People are afraid to play that person because they don't want to get a 0. They're afraid that person's not going to play. So there's a couple players that are tagged in the NBA, to, you know, on the slate where you're going to have a big edge that if they do play and you play them, then you have a great opportunity. You know, we're going to get into that. We're going to get into maybe a little bit more game theory as well. So there's, you know, I just look at every slate as individuals. You know, and then again, as we were talking earlier, I was talking about value. And again, value doesn't mean cheap. Value just means underpriced or priced under what the slate is giving you. And, you know, there's some players that are a little overpriced based on stuff that's going to happen tomorrow's slate. and there's some people that are underpriced. And as Cashin was alluding to, there's a one player that I won't touch tomorrow. He's probably the best player on the slate, but he's just way too expensive, And so that's where, but that person's still going to be probably 50% owned. So if you fade that person, you're ahead of 50% of the field, So if he hits, you're going to be behind 50% of the field. So, but when you're doing, if you're going to do multiple lineups, you have 2 or 3 lineups, maybe you have one with that person in it, one without, and then you have a 50-50 shot. So that's really what it is. It's just fading, as we call the landmines, and people that we think are going to underproduce, and you'll be successful. I am not against cash game lineups and 2-game slates. The late night slate tonight, I played a lot of cash games with that. I actually play more cash games on the 2-game slates than I do on the larger slates, because a lot of people try to get cute and try to get fancy, but that's not what cash games are about. So I keep it simple. I'm not a cash game player by any means. I'm a GPP guy, but when I play the cash games, it's because I'm looking for differential plays that are going to set me aside from other people, and I'm just looking to make the best plays. So that's really what it comes down to for my strategy.
Okay, fair enough. What about you, Cass? Are there any rules you go into it? Like when you go into it, are you thinking like I gotta find that flyer? Like TC's always talking about the flyers, flyer. Every other word out of TC's mouth. Once we get to Value Town, every other word from TC is flyer this, flyer. He loves the flyers. What about you, Cass? Like on a 2-game slate, do those flyers mean more, or do you like? You know what I'm saying? What are your thoughts?
No. I love flyers, but I like flyers on big slates.
Yeah.
Like today, MKG, 1%. Dude got you 41, and it doesn't matter. A flyer doesn't have to be a min price guy. I mean, a flyer can be a MKG that hasn't played huge minutes yet this year, or Nicholas Batum that it's his first game of the year. I mean, that's a flyer. You don't know what's going to happen with that. You know what I'm saying? That's called a flyer. So on 2-game slates, nah. I'm not trying to mess around with flyers. I'm trying to mess around with what I think is good plays that is going to be low owned. Like PJ Tucker, which, I mean, he royally screwed me his last game, but in Phoenix with revenge, he's been playing minutes, and he might, I have to look into it, but he might get blowout minutes as well. So, yeah, I mean, that's like a flyer play on a 2-game slate. I'm not trying to go down to these guys that like you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not trying to play Derrick Jones Jr. and be like, oh, Derrick Jones Jr. is going to get me 30 today. No, damn that. You got to score points. The money line is going to be high.
Yeah.
Like, you have to score points. You cannot just go around and just guess, unless you want to make 150 teams, and then you do whatever you want to do. But I ain't making 150 teams. I can promise you that.
Mm-hmm.
I usually make 3 teams a day. Right. 3 main teams, and then I'll throw in donkeys, whatever.
Right. I hear you guys. So let's go ahead and let's just kind of go into the thought process. We're gonna go game by game first, and then we'll go back, go position by position. We're gonna start off with this first game, Golden State at Boston. Johnny, I'm gonna have you start off, and then I'm gonna have you bring it home for us. Talk to me about the game, Johnny.
You got the totals of these?
One total wasn't out when I saw.
Yeah, there is no total yet for Houston Phoenix. I think that game's going to be at around 121 with about Houston favored by about 13. It's in Phoenix.
Yeah,
that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, I would go with that. I think the only thing they're waiting for is exact confirmation that like CP3 and Monroe are going to play. That's probably what they're waiting for. But yeah, go ahead, Johnny. And then 215 at Golden State Boston. 215 Boston plus 7. Cash.
Are we going to play position by position or game by game?
We're going to go game by game first, and then we'll go back, look at the positions, and think of it from like a lineup build perspective. But let's just go game by game and kind of talk about what we're looking at in the matchups. So, Johnny, you go first. Let's talk about Golden State at Boston.
Yeah, definitely. I'm looking at this game, and just from first look, where I think is good is I think Curry and Irving's going to be a great matchup. Curry's coming back from an injury. It wasn't a very big injury. It was, I think it was like a thigh bruise or something like that, and it's something that was very minimal. He could have played last game, but they wanted to hold him out. So he's getting a little bit of a rest. And, besides, that Boston defense is great. Besides Irving is the weak link there on the defense. So I think Curry's going to have his way. I mean, Curry, I think Curry's still matchup proof. I don't think there's anybody that can stop him. So, he's going to do his thing tomorrow. And then, looking back at that game as well, I think Draymond Green is a great matchup. Boston has a really, really hard time rebounding. They don't do well with the bigs. So I can see this game going small, and I can see Draymond getting a lot at the 5 as well. I also think that Durant could do really well. Wings against Boston's the thing as well. So I think that, the big 3 are all in play. I think the one guy that I'm off on this game on the Golden State side is going to be Klay Thompson. I don't think this is a Klay Thompson game. With Smart out there and Jaylen Brown, I think they're going to both not shut Thompson. I don't think he really shut anybody out there, but I think they're going to cover him. So I think that's where I'm liking on that. And then, we look at the other side of the ball. I'm not really an Irving fan here. I don't really like a lot on the Boston side. Just looking at it, I mean, there's some plays that are okay plays, but when we're looking at pricing, they're just really, really high. They're really expensive on DraftKings. So there's not really a standout play for me when it comes to a DFS play. So I'm kind of off Boston.
Okay, fair enough. Cash, what are your thoughts here at this game, Golden State at Boston?
Oh, it's interesting because Boston as a team is great defense, but this is probably the greatest team ever assembled. So, I mean, one of them's going to win. You know what I'm saying? The defense, which I would put my money on the greatest team to ever be assembled, is going to win. But what I would say about Kyrie Irving is that Boston has no chance unless this dude takes over. Like, he has to take over the game. And everybody knows I don't play Kyrie. I don't play Kyrie over 8,000. But it's a 2-game slate, so the only way I could see Boston winning this game is if Kyrie takes over or Horford. But Kyrie has a much better matchup with Curry than Horford does with Draymond. But I don't know, man. It's tough. But I don't, because Smart is going to be on Klay and Brown is going to be on Durant. So I don't know if I want to pay for Durant. I would rather pay for Steph than Durant, personally.
And Steph on DraftKings, Steph's only $600 more than Irving. Who'd you rather take, Kyrie or Steph?
That close? But oh man, I don't know. That's a tough question because I do want to play for ownership as well. I'm trying to win, but Curry is a better play because Curry can just take the reason Kyrie Irving doesn't go off because he just doesn't the offense does not want him to do that. The offense that Stevens has doesn't want Kyrie to take over games and go off. It's just what it is. That's the way it is.
The scheme isn't set up that way. I agree.
Exactly. It's a team it's a team game. It's a Spurs. It's Golden State. It's move the ball and it's beat them with a team, not individually. But Steph Curry is he just fired up from 35 feet and just, you know what I'm saying? So he could take over any game, anytime. And the thing that I love about the Warriors is if one of them gets hot, they will keep feeding them. Especially Klay. If Klay gets hot, they just feed him the ball. They'll just keep throwing him the ball over and over. And dude can go for 60 points. What did he get? 60 points in 3 quarters last year? But yeah, I don't like Klay. I don't like Klay on the road ever. But my thing is that who do I want to play on Boston? And I don't know of anybody except those two. I don't think that Jaylen Brown can take over this game. I don't think Tatum can take over this game. For me, it has to be Kyrie or Horford.
Yeah, it's funny because before before the show, Johnny and I were talking about Boston, and Johnny was saying that Boston, like the issue is always with Boston, is there's a lot of mouths to feed. There's a lot of different ways that it can go, and then I was saying too, like the other thing about it is that they're all. It's not like they're discounted. Like they're all at a price to where you basically have to guess which one is going to be the guy to get you 6x. Like it's not like they're all like priced well, and it's like okay, play that. They're all priced to where like it'll hurt if they're not the guy. So it's like you
they're
kind
all
of
priced as if Irving was still out.
Right. Yes. Exactly.
But Tatum,
that's
Tatum is. What is Tatum's price on DK?
Tatum. I'm gonna look right now. I had it pulled up, and for some reason it just disappeared on me. But I'm gonna.
He's 61.
There you go.
61. Oh yeah, no way. He's 5'6" on FanDuel, so like maybe, but I just don't really love it. Like I don't love that.
No,
because I can see him going out there and getting me 16. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, Jaylen Brown, 6'3".
But you look at this. Here's another option for you. Cash, what would you rather do? Would you rather play Horford at 7,600 or Draymond Green at 7,300?
Oh, Draymond every day, all day, twice on Sunday, all the time.
And that's what I'm saying. That's the position you're in. Like I'm basically, for me, it's Draymond Green, Curry in this game, and then the rest going to go to that Houston Phoenix game. That's where I'm at.
Yeah.
What looking at these two games, would you expect this one to have a better chance of staying close than the other one?
No.
You don't think so?
No. I mean, nobody can guard Durant. Who's going to guard Durant? Like, is there one person that they can guard him, but are they going to be able to shut him out? Think about that.
No, nobody can shut any of those three guys out.
That's the problem.
That's
the problem. But legitimately, the only guy that I don't think can get shut out of a game is going to be Kyrie. I don't think Kyrie, if he's motivated, I don't think anybody can shut him out. I think he's that good of a ball handler. But Horford can disappear. We know that. Everybody else on that team can disappear. And the prices are so expensive. You know what I mean? And that's part of it. For me, I don't see a value. I don't see – if they were priced fair, I would say, okay, maybe I'll play some Boston guys. But they're overpriced. They're just too expensive.
Yeah.
There's a lot of value in the next game.
That's the why I think that if my favorite play would be Kyrie, because he's got Curry defense. Sure. And Horford is going to have Green defense. I mean, that is two totally opposite ends of the spectrum.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, we've already seen it. Like, Kyrie can take over a game. Mm-hmm. But in this system, it just is not – he just doesn't do it. But in this game, he has to do it. Like, he has to do it. The rest of these guys can't do it. They can't handle this. They can't handle Golden State. Kyrie can. Kyrie has already done it. Like, he pretty much won the finals for them in that last game. You know what I'm saying? So he can do it. That's it. That's the only person on Boston that can win this game.
But that's, if we were going to stack the game, I would agree with your theory, because you want it to go back and forth. You want Kyrie and you want to take Curry. You want to take both sides. I don't think this game is going to be close. I think this game is going to get. I think it's, I mean, even if it stays close, I don't think I'm losing a lot with Kyrie because of all the juicy matchups in the next game. But I mean, really, if you think about it, if you're going to stack the game, take Kyrie, take Curry, let them go back and forth. But I don't think Kyrie is going to outscore Curry, and you can't afford Green, Curry, and Kyrie in this and going into the next game.
On DraftKings, it's different. On FanDuel, there's a big gap between price.
Of course. FanDuel's a different. I'm talking DraftKings. Yeah. I'm talking. What on FanDuel? What are they priced?
Curry is 9.7 and Kyrie is 8.3.
You're right. That's a totally. There's a question there. Now we're talking about the value to price is closer in line. But on DraftKings, I don't think it's a close.
No,
decision.
It's not at all.
It's Curry, and that's it.
It's the same thing with Green and Horford. The same
exact
situation.
Who in their right mind would click Horford over Draymond when Draymond is cheaper?
Yeah. It's the same situation.
That's what you do if you want to win a donkey. Like Draymond can turn an ankle. Draymond can get in foul trouble. Mm-hmm. Anything can happen in this game. So if you want to get totally off the board and do some crazy stuff, you pick Horford over Draymond. I'm not recommending that. I'm not saying I would do that. But if I'm trying to win against 100,000 teams, you have to do crazy stuff.
It's all about how you can, what you can limit and what you can control, and how much risk limit you can, take. A lot of people can't take that up and down theory, and some people can. So it just depends on what kind of a player you are. If you like that variance, yeah, go ahead and take, on DraftKings, go ahead and take Horford, who's a little bit more expensive than Green, and then go ahead and take Irving, that's a little bit cheaper than Curry. You'll have a completely different lineup. I'm sure that your lineup will be, only 40% owned instead of 60% owned. So
yeah, it's not easy. It's not easy to play on a 2-game slate. I mean,
no.
I could say that over and over in this show. Like, it is just not easy.
I will say one thing. I find that the build, to me, is a lot easier on 2-game slates for DraftKings. Because on FanDuel, it's really hard to get different because you don't have the flexibility. Like sometimes being as different as playing a guy at point guard instead of shooting guard or whatever, hypothetically, is a way to get different. Like I find on FanDuel on 2-game slates, I end up looking for more players that I know. Like those Michael Beasleys, in those situations. You know what I mean? Whereas on DraftKings, I never have to. Because I can always be creative with where I play the guys, and I know that that's going to make me different enough.
And you always have a utility down there at the bottom.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. So it's very easy to have a different lineup. You're almost not as concerned with tying. Like you are still concerned, but you're not as concerned. It's like on FanDuel where you're restricted to playing everybody in their spots.
Yep.
Sure,
exactly.
And that's why, because on FanDuel you have to play 2 point guards, you have to play 2 shooting guards, you have to play 2 small forwards, 2 power forwards. So I understand that part of it. And and I was meaning exactly to the viewers out there, to the nation. I was referring just to DraftKings, not FanDuel at all. Again, I'm a big DraftKings player, and I won't play any FanDuel lineups tomorrow. I'm only gonna have one lineup out there tomorrow, just so you guys know. And we already talked about that before show, so I didn't die with that lineup. So.
Yes, it's a different perspective, 100%, depending on what site you're playing on. It makes a big difference. Pricing is everything. With that said, let's move on to the next game. We got Houston at Phoenix. Johnny the Greek, you're up first, brother. What do you got here?
So yeah, there's a lot in this game. There's a lot of stuff we should go over really quick. First thing is that Chris Paul is going to be back tomorrow, and he's going to be on a 20-minute limitation. So when you're looking here first, before you even start to do a lineup construction, and part of what I do before I do lineup construction is I start to go down all position by position, or on DraftKings where I go to where it says all or utility, so I can view all the players, and I look down to see if there's any notes on it. There's a little notepad section there, and you can click on that and you can read news on them or whatever it is. And then let's just say if there's something vague, or if there's an injury, or maybe some kind of a notation that there might be an injury, then I do a little bit more research on that before I even start building my lineups. Because I want to know what's going on, if there's a chance the player might not play, because I'm not trying to have any dead lineups. I want to make sure that every lineup I have is profitable. Again, doing this for a living, you have to make sure that you get your all your money in with good lineups with good money. So that's what you really want to do here. So first thing is I'll start to look at it, and I know that now if you look at Chris Paul, there's no more outs, little O, red O, and then if you click on it, he had a little bit of news there, and it says right there, Paul Nee is expected to start and play about 20 minutes during Thursday's game against the Suns. So what that tells me is that 20 minutes, maybe we might get 25 minutes out of him, So what that's going to do is that's going to take value away from Harden, and look at Harden at 12,700, which is a lot. It basically takes Harden out of play for me. We were talking a little bit ago about, if you fade somebody, and he's the guy with the big fade I'm looking at, and if he's probably going to be 50% owned tomorrow. So a lot of people aren't even going to know that Chris Paul's back tomorrow. Even though that there's no designation, it's just because he's been out for so long. So I think that fading Harden is where I'm going. And then, I start to think about this game. I think that it is in Phoenix, and Phoenix is pretty good at keeping the scores close at home. They're really bad on the road, but at home they fight a little bit more, and they've actually been running and scoring really, really well. I love Booker in this game, in this up and down matchup. Gordon's a good play. I could see those guys. They're not really trying to play any defense, so I can see them shooting. Ryan Anderson, this opens up for him. He's great on the road. He's horrible at home, so that opens up a player like him. TJ Warren, he's too cheap. So you really start looking down here. And then, Ulis, you look at Ulis, he's won that job back from Mike James. So he's been getting the minutes. So you can fit, you can get him in. So you could really come up with a really great balanced lineup here, or semi-balanced lineup. And then, take a risk on somebody that, hasn't played in a while, or hint that has a question mark tag by him. And his initials might be GM, for instance. And just click on it, and you just click on his initials, you click on his name, and it says he's questionable. He might be, might be playing tomorrow. So I think that GM, aka Greg Monroe, is in play tomorrow. I think that the Suns are either going to showcase him, or they're going to start him, or give him more minutes, and they're going to either trade him, trade bait, or they're going to cut ties with Chandler. There's something going to go on there. I think Monroe's, if he's playing, he's in play at 4,100, and I think that he could be a difference maker. When it comes to what's going on with the Capella situation, I think he's the only one that in that defensive scheme that's going to be able to have any chance to go toe-to-toe with Capella. I don't think he can stop Capella because he's just too athletic. He's just really good center. I mean, I'm really surprised how he's really turned out, but I think he's a lot better. It's a better matchup for Monroe than it would be for the aging old man Chandler, who needs to go take his walker and go into a retirement home, and Len can't guard a trash can, or if he does try to guard a trash can, he gets handsy and he gets 5 fouls. So that's kind of where I'm at.
Yeah, fair enough. Also worth noting, Nene is looks like he's doubtful to play once again, as you mentioned, Capella. And man, I feel like there was one other thing that I had to say, but it just slipped me as I mentioned him. With that said, if it comes back to me, I'll just say it. Cash, to you now, man. What are your thoughts here on this Houston-Phoenix game?
Houston is just so easy. Houston is one of the easiest teams in the NBA to predict the rotations and know who's going to play. These dudes, they have an 8-man rotation. It's easy. You just know who's going to play. You know who's getting minutes. And Mike D'Antoni don't mess around. He plays his guys. He don't never go down to that 10th man, that 11th man, that 12th man. You know who's playing. So it's very easy to figure out Houston. But this price on FanDuel of Greg Monroe, oh my God. Dude is 3.7 on FanDuel. 3.7.
41 on DraftKings.
Are you kidding me? He's only 41 over there?
Yeah, he's free. That's why he's free. When we're off air today, I'm gonna read you my lineup for tomorrow, and you're like, how the fuck did you fit that? Because that is sick. The lineup I have tomorrow is sick.
That is insane.
Yeah.
Oh man. So are we expecting Greg Monroe to be 90% owned here? I mean,
no, because I don't think a lot of people are going to be on him. I think people are going to be afraid to play him. No, people are going to be afraid. They're going to see that question mark. God. You know what I mean? Like, there's just a lot of stuff going on. Yeah, I mean,
3.7. He can pay off that price in 8 minutes.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah.
Like,
I agree.
7-8 minutes, he could pay off that price.
On FanDuel, because of steals and blocks, he can pull it off in probably 5 minutes. On DraftKings, probably 7-8 minutes, yeah.
That is insane. That is insane. But, so Gordon's going to go to the bench with Paul back. But Gordon will come in and run the point guard with Harden on the second unit. Like, if Harden is on the bench, he will run the point guard. So I like him more when Paul's there because he comes off the bench. And he still is going to play a lot of minutes. So I do like that. But I like P.J. Tucker revenge. P.J. Tucker screwed me by getting ejected the other day. And he played in Phoenix for a good little minute there. And I expect him to be on the court if it happens to blow out. Like, if it gets out of hand in the fourth quarter and they get up by 20, I expect him to have all that run. It's only $4,000. I'm a PJ Tucker mark. I love this guy.
I think he's a great play on FanDuel. I think he's a great play on FanDuel. I don't think he's a good play on DraftKings though.
What is he priced up on DraftKings?
No, it's not that. It's just the opportunity cost with the other with Warren. You don't get as many forward spots. That's why you don't have two small forwards. You have one. You have two. You have a small forward, power forward, and then a forward.
You said Warren is too cheap. How much is he?
Over there on DraftKings?
Yeah.
He is 6,500.
Yeah, I can see that it's too cheap. But he will have good defenders on him. But
yeah.
I mean, that's still a cheap price. Like dude has tremendous upside.
Well, I mean, think about this. Would you prefer to go on the road, PJ Tucker or Ryan Anderson?
That's a good question. That's very close for me. But I expect Ryan Anderson to be much heavier on because he's a starter. Mm-hmm. But I do like him more on the road. But I think I would go PJ Tucker, but it's very close. Like, that's like splitting hairs.
Yeah, I mean, that would be my decision.
Like, if you had to pick one of these dudes, who would you pick? Booker or Warren?
Well, on DraftKings though, why not play them both? Because I can shoot one.
Yeah, guard and one. I know, but I'm saying if you can only pick one of these guys, which one would you choose?
Booker.
Me too.
Even though he's more expensive, I would take Booker.
I agree. It's just the defense.
He doesn't have a ceiling.
Yeah, it's the defense. Like, he's gonna get better matchup.
Yeah.
But they're both great plays, in my opinion.
Yeah. I just think it's just the way it sets up for me on DraftKings. This is, again, just for me. PJ Tucker's not in the equation just because I think the upside for Monroe is so much more than Tucker, and he would be my last fill. He'd be my utility spot. So I just like Monroe a lot more if he plays. Now, if Monroe is not going to play or there's some kind of limitations, I would probably pivot down to PJ Tucker. He would be my second sub-in.
Okay, I got a question for both of y'all. With Paul coming back, that's gonna limit Bahamute minutes.
Ariza,
I would think, right?
Yeah, and Ariza's gonna lose a little bit, and Eric Gordon's gonna lose some too.
Yeah, Eric Gordon is definitely gonna lose a lot. But yeah, I'm trying to figure out
and then you have to think of this.
If you plug it on.
Then you also have to think about Capella. Like Capella could lose minutes and they can go small as well. And then that would take.
Yeah, but
if
what are we projecting for Greg Monroe's minutes? Like, can he get out there and get 25?
He can. Will he? No, I don't think so.
It's a calf. Yeah, no, he's not in shape. It's a calf.
But he hasn't gotten 25 minutes really all this year. There's not many games.
Yeah, but that's Jason Kidd. I mean, of course.
But he's not built for it yet.
Plays minutes.
Yeah, he's not. He doesn't have the stamina. I don't think he could do it. But I think that if they're going to showcase him and they're going to trade him, they might throw him out there 25 minutes. Sure, there's a chance. I think best case scenario is 20 minutes.
My guess would be at the most 20. That'd be my guess. Yeah,
I agree as well. But he can do a lot in 20 minutes. We both agree to that.
Yeah, oh yeah. Like, he might play like 5-6 minute spurt in the first quarter and then 5-6 minute spurt in the second. And that's how they'll work it in.
And that's just if he plays. This is just, we don't know 100%, but I'm pretty confident he's going to play.
Yeah. But there's so many options. Like, this game is way different than another one on FanDuel. There's so many cheap options here. On the other game, there's not cheap options.
Harden. Yeah, the only person that's overpriced in this game is Harden.
Well, Chris Paul too.
Well,
on FanDuel at least, he's 9,
yeah,
8-9. What is he on DK?
71.
7-1 on DraftKings.
7-1. Wow.
Yeah, but he's only getting 20 minutes. Like, they have him priced at getting about 25, 30 minutes.
Yeah. But if, like, do you expect people to go there? Like, they're just going to price enforce that play at
They're
that
just going to
price.
see his name. People don't read, man. People, they just see Chris Paul. Like, if they're going to play him, he's either going to be low owned because people think he's injured still, or they're going to play him because they see his name. Oh, 7,100, Chris Paul. And
Yeah, they're just gonna click that price. It's just a price play, period. Yeah.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, and it was just like today with Batum. You know, a lot of people went with Batum, and it was just because they saw his name and they saw the price. You know, he wasn't. You know, at minute restriction, he's not a great play, but he had a good game. You know, for his price.
Yeah, it's Cleveland. Anybody can have a good game.
Sure.
Did anybody see? I don't think MKG could score 41 points against any other team in the league except maybe Phoenix and Phoenix.
Yeah, no, that's true. That's true. Before we go ahead and go, we'll go back real quick and go position by position and just kind of touch on some of the plays that we like after talking about the games. Before we do that, Paulie D just texted me that it's almost 2 a.m. on the East Coast, and Paulie D is awake as usual. He wanted me to tell you, Johnny, he wanted me to give you props on the NBA Y stream today. He wanted me to give you props with Embiid. He was really, really high on Embiid. He was your favorite play today. And also Bledsoe. Bledsoe had a good game. You mentioned that he was a great price on DraftKings. And, he was I'm sure he was very low owned. But Paulie wanted me to say that. So now with that said.
Yeah, I was high on
Embiid
my
most spates call.
Until the
news.
Value?
The most spates, yes, the most spates. He did it value.
Oh, I could throw out some calls. But nah, man, that news killed me, man. I would have had so much Embiid. Like I might have been all in. And then had one.
I thought you were based off your article because I actually made Embiid the picture of the article because I thought that was like your guy. Like I thought, like you know.
Yes, he was, but that news just like I was scared, man. Oh my God, it killed me. It just kills me because I went heavy on Gortat. And this guy, like I said, he needs to find a 6-foot hole, go in it, and stop breathing.
But then he'd still be able to, but he'd still be over the 6-foot hole though, because he's.
No, you can lay down in that 6-foot hole.
Oh, lay down. Okay.
So
you want him to lay in a ditch, not a hole, then, right?
Yeah.
A ditch.
A hole. That's about 8.5 foot long, 6
like
foot deep.
Okay.
And just lay in that thing.
There you go.
That makes sense.
But yeah, guys. So let's go position by position real quick. Let's talk about it. Obviously, Cash is going to speak in FanDuel terms, and Johnny's going to cover the DraftKings end. But let's just hear about it. Point guards, Johnny. It sounds like I know that you know your dilemma on point guard is going to be Kyrie and Curry, right? Like that's like because you've already said that you're off of Harden because you believe he's overpriced on DraftKings. So what are your thoughts?
For me, there's no dilemma. It's Curry.
Curry's
the play.
Gotcha. Cash, what about you on FanDuel from a FanDuel perspective? What are you thinking?
I don't even want to say it because I do not like this guy this year. But Kyrie Irving.
Yeah. Well, it's like what's the price difference over there? Curry is
9.7, and Kyrie is 8.3.
Wow. Okay,
have you done a build though? Have you done a build to see what you can put
I
in
haven't.
there?
Nah.
Because when you do a build, it might change your mind though.
Yeah. I never do anything. I just open up the computer and bam, here's the slate. Yeah. I just start talking.
We get the initial reaction, the initial thoughts.
Well, I was a little anxious because I was sitting here because I was supposed to do a football show and then I had technical difficulty, and then I had all this free time, so I just started to throw together this two game slate stuff. So.
But damn, man, Ulyss and Mike James are both so cheap.
Yeah, I got Ulyss. I'm a Ulyss guy.
Oh, I am too.
Yeah.
I was on James, but he lost that job, man. He went back to Ulyss.
Yeah.
Yep. But neither one of them. Hold on, let me see. Neither one of them played that many minutes last game, right? He played
27.
He played 27.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
26 the game before.
And James played 16. Okay. I thought James played less.
James is definitely the doghouse.
Yeah, maybe he shouldn't have threw that basketball at Bender. It's the stupidest thing I ever heard.
But he's got more minutes the last two games. Ulyss.
Oh yeah. He's a starter now.
Yeah.
You know why Mike James is being punished, right?
Yeah.
He threw a basketball dragging Bender.
Yeah.
I mean, what the are
Don't
we
you hate
5?
when the-
I mean, are we in kindergarten? I mean,
Yeah, but
come on,
don't you
man.
hate when the coach has a pet and the pet's always like the 11th option off the bench?
Well, you
Like
know what
Doc
Dragon Bender
Rivers?
should have did? Dragon Bender just should have became Portis and just went and handled it.
Yeah,
hit him in
man.
his
They
face,
should have
yeah.
just said,
Broke
man,
his face.
I'm gonna take your job.
No, but what? Imagine if Ulysses went up to Bender and like broke his face. Little Ulysses.
Little Ulyss. He probably could,
But no,
man.
but you think about it. Look at Doc. Look at Doc Rivers and his son. His son is horrible, and he's like he gives up the whole team for his son. So it's like I mean, if you do something against his son, you're in the doghouse. So I mean, again, Bender, 11th player off the bench, he's not worth it.
Yeah. Yeah. I hear it. Let's go over to shooting guard. Johnny, what are your thoughts initially?
You can. Here you go. This is DraftKings for you, but you can even throw Curry to point guard if you want. If you want to play, if you want to get feisty and play Irving and Curry, you can do that. And then if not, my play is Booker. Booker at shooting guard, but he's also small forward eligible. So, I mean, the one thing you're going to get with DraftKings tomorrow is you're going to get a lot of different builds just because of position eligibility.
Exactly. Cash, what about you looking at shooting guard on FanDuel?
I mean, it's Booker.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is. But if with Monroe's so cheap, you could fit in Harden no problem. But I would rather go Booker, and I like Gordon as well.
Yeah.
I like Gordon coming off that second unit, man.
What's Gordon's price on FanDuel?
6. Oh no, 6-1.
So just throw this to you guys real quick. Here's a dilemma a little bit on DraftKings tomorrow. You have point guard and shooting guard eligible. You have Harden, Curry, right? Then you have Booker, who's shooting guard, small forward eligible. Then you have Chris Paul, who's point guard and shooting guard eligible. So
Why is Chris Paul shooting guard eligible?
I have no idea.
It's just dumb.
Yeah.
Yes. It is dumb. It's almost like they were just messing around. They didn't think he was going to play. Like, oh shit, he's going to play. Oh, we left him as shooting guard still. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know what else.
But why is Curry at shooting guard? That makes no sense.
That makes no sense as well.
that makes to me that makes even less sense because even if you want to say sometimes Harden runs the point, which like doesn't happen when Chris Paul's in the game, but even if you wanted to say that, but for Curry, it's like. Wow.
Nah, you could say Kevin Durant runs the point and Draymond Green as well.
I guess so.
Sure.
I guess so. No, yeah,
Sure,
they do. They bring it
but
up.
they don't run them as point guards. They run them just as small forward, power forward. I mean, they're putting Curry in a position he doesn't play.
Yeah.
Yep.
But the question here is then, for you, Cash, that you're having a question about Irving, and Curry. Maybe DraftKings is the play for you tomorrow. You can throw them one at point guard, one at shooting guard, let them go back and forth, and then build your lineup. Have your differential play somewhere else.
Yep, for sure. Oh man, FanDuel is. I mean, it's yeah.
And at FanDuel, you have to make decisions. In DraftKings, you don't. Like, you don't have to make those decisions. Like Monroe is a much bigger sacrifice on FanDuel than he is on DraftKings. Like, you're giving away your center spot. You can't play Capella now because you just played that dude. Whereas on DraftKings, it doesn't matter. You can play Monroe forward. You can play him utility. Play him center. You play, Capella. You can play him in center. You can play him utility. It's like there's so many ways you can really play the guys you want to play. So on FanDuel, like it really is on a 2-game slate, especially. It's a really different
impossible.
game. It's a very different game. A whole totally different mindset. And that's why I'm kind of asking you guys for the perspectives because I know Johnny plays on DraftKings. I know you both play on the other sites as well. But I know that Cash primarily plays NBA on FanDuel, and I know you primarily play NBA on DraftKings. So let's move over to the small forward now. I know, Johnny, again, like you said, a lot of the guys you've mentioned, you can play here. You can play Booker, small forward also. Whereas the decision for Cash is going to be different because Booker is only available as shooting guard. So Johnny, what do you think of small forward? Obviously, guys like Warren come into the picture. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, there's just so much here, when it comes to DraftKings, just because of the dual eligibility for a lot of positions. But for me, I'm just looking at this, and again, I'm almost taking all the Boston guys out of the equation just because I just think they're overpriced. The only guy I think that's in play still in Boston, just because of the pricing, is going to be Morris. He's only 4,900, but I think everybody else is out of play for me there. My play, I'm looking heavily at Warren or Booker at small forward. Currently, I have Booker in my shooting guard spot, and I have Warren in my small forward spot.
Gotcha. Cash, what about you for small forward? Obviously, this is big because you can pick two of them. This is one thing. You get two of them, so you know that almost everybody's going to try to plug in Kevin Durant. That's like something you know. Like, what are your thoughts? What do you do with Durant here?
Not for me. Not at that price. And yeah, no, I don't think I'll have him. I mean, I might, but I don't. Right now, it's Warren.
Yeah,
I'd much rather play Warren, and then I want Ariza or Tucker.
Right. So it's a situation where you know, like, that's one way on FanDuel to try to get contrarian in a two-game slate is to try to just change your build-up. If you know everybody's going to pay up for Kevin Durant, you'll have more salary to pay up elsewhere where they can't by playing. I mean, obviously, if you play Monroe, you could probably play everybody, but again, you're sacrificing a safer play with a guy like Capella or even Alex Len or something like that if Chandler's out. Yeah, that's what I was going to say earlier. Chandler is questionable with an illness. Okay, boom. Glad it hit.
Who is?
Tyson Chandler. He's questionable with an illness. That's what I meant to say earlier.
You plug in Greg Monroe and PJ Tucker, you have 7,500 per player.
Yeah. A lot of room to work with there on FanDuel. It's interesting. Johnny, take us over to power forward on DraftKings.
Yeah, same thing, man. There's just so many players are eligible for dual position here. I'm not going to play Durant tomorrow. I think he's just too expensive. I think there's just a lot. I like everything under 9K pretty much. Guy that's looking me in the face. Number one play is Draymond Green. On DraftKings, you can slide him over to center or power forward. So I like that play. And then just a little bit below him, I like Ryan Anderson a lot. And then we've already mentioned Greg Monroe.
Yep. Cash, what about you for power forward on FanDuel?
Man, on FanDuel, it's a big gap.
Yeah.
You got 8'2" Draymond, and then you go all the way down to Tatum at 5'6". So right there alone, that's going to raise Draymond's ownership. When you have that big a gap from salary from the number one to number two, that raises ownership. It just does. People look at that, they're like, why would I pick any of these $5,000 guys when there's a guy that's 8'2"? So
it also might lower Curry's ownership in a sense because like if people feel like they have to play Harden, they have to play Durant. Like I think Curry would be the odd man out, right? Because like if you're going by position scarcity on on FanDuel, it would.
I would damn sure
people are going to take the discount with Kyrie. I would think, right? Just take the discount of those two studs. And
yes.
Way you could play Harden. You could play Durant or Draymond. Draymond probably because like you said, you're right. When people go there and they see one option at the top, they feel like they have to play that option because that means the position is weak in their eyes. So they don't want to take a chance. They want to take the guy that's the safest, right?
Yeah, exactly. That's why I would take Curry over both of them. If I could only pick one, I would take Curry over both of them because, like you said, people are gonna just jam in Harden even at 12.5. They're gonna jam him in. So once you jam in a 12.5 guy, like that's just gonna lower your position everywhere else.
Right.
But yeah, man. I mean, Draymond is definitely the play. I mean, of course. But if Marcus Smart is 5, and Ryan Anderson is 4.6, I mean, I'll take Ryan Anderson over Marcus. But I like Tatum too. Like, there's options that I like down here, so I might fade Draymond because Draymond hasn't been doing what I like. He ain't been doing as well as what I was expecting at the beginning of the year. He was projected to be one of my highest on guys throughout the year, and I've had him a lot, but he's not been great.
What about this, Cashin? Let me throw a couple plays at you, and you tell me what I'm going to give you the dollar amount of the player. And you tell me who you'd prefer to play, okay?
Yeah.
All right. Curry or Irving? Curry is 87. Irving's 81. Who'd you pick?
Curry.
Okay. Irving 8,100 or Draymond at 73?
Draymond.
Okay. Draymond at 73 or Capella at 72?
I mean, I gotta say Draymond, but
Okay.
I love Capella. When Nene is out, I love Capella.
Nene is doubtful.
I know.
Okay. Got Draymond or Warren. Draymond 73, Warren 65.
Draymond.
Okay. Booker, Irvin. Booker 75, Irving's 81.
Booker.
Okay. And I think that was a great take for all of our nation here because those are decisions you're going to have to make tomorrow when you're looking at these different builds on DraftKings. You know, there's a lot of different position eligibility, and you know, that was very helpful, I think, for all of the viewers.
Yeah, no, definitely. Johnny, can you put your camera one out there? Let's go ahead. There you go. There he is. Let's go ahead and move it over to center so we can wrap this bad boy up.
All right, starting with me.
Yep, you got it.
All right, we got Capella. Is my favorite play. That's just a center only option. You can slide Green in there for an extra $100. Capella's at 72, Green's at 73. Or you can go ahead and play Ryan Anderson there if you feel a little frisky. But I would rather have him at either forward or power forward eligible position. And then you have Greg Monroe eligible at power forward and center. Those are my plays at center.
Gotcha. Cash, for you, it's like the decisions are real. Because like Johnny just named a few guys, and he can realistically play all those guys if he decided to in one lineup on DraftKings. So on FanDuel, like, what's your perspective here? Like I would imagine that Horford and Capella are going to be the two ways that people go, and for good reason. You know, I would imagine on FanDuel there's a pretty large separation between those guys. But obviously, that does mean that the build is going to be to pay up at center, so to speak. So what are your thoughts? What's your approach on FanDuel with center?
I mean, it's the same decision that I had to make, I think, 2 days ago? It was Capella or Horford. That was my two decisions. And I chose Capella, and I will choose Capella again. I don't like playing bigs against Golden State because Golden State likes to play small, and they have Draymond Green to guard the big. So it's Capella all day, and that ain't even close. Like, it's not even close to me between Horford and Capella. But if Greg Monroe is not going to be, like, if he's going to be low owned on FanDuel, which, I mean, it's much different than DK because, like today, Maurice Spates, like, people was talking him up, but that's a DK play. Like, you're gonna play Maurice Spates on FanDuel at center with all them centers up there?
No way.
Hell nah. So it just is different. It's a different animal. There's only one, but if Greg Monroe is not going to be popular, I'll plug him in. Like, I'll plug him in, and then you could just go. You can just do whatever.
Then you're not worried about the Harden cost of 12-7.
You ain't worried about nothing.
Yeah. I don't think there's no way Monroe is popular. Probably not on DraftKings, but definitely not on FanDuel. There's no way that people do that and pass up on Horford or Capella on a 2-game slate. They just won't do that.
Yep.
So there's your game theory aspect. Well, this was cool, man. I know it's a 2-game slate. We stretched the show out a little bit. We wanted to make sure that we took the opportunity to go into a little bit of game theory and strategy and try to help people, especially on a 2-game slate, to really see what it's like, what our guys do, what their thought process is, and how different DraftKings and FanDuel really is, and like how much price matters, line of construction, all this kind of stuff matters. And Johnny, for a second, man, I know that you wanted to run a special contest with you joining the team and all that, and so I'd like to give you the opportunity to go ahead and tell the nation what this contest is, tell them what their deadline is, and tell them what they get.
Yeah, so you guys can help me out with the deadline here. I don't have that in my head, but I have the contest that we're going to run here, and so basically what we're going to do is we're looking for everybody to go ahead and give us a 5-star review on iTunes. And if you do that and you retweet us, this podcast, on Twitter, and you like us on Twitter, the podcast that we just shot right now, I'm going to pick one person out of a hat that did both of these two things. and give a free 30-minute coaching session for either NBA or NFL, your choice, for every 25 people that do this. So if we get only one person that does this, that one person will automatically win the coaching session. If we get 26 people that do this, it will be 2. So it's, at least 1, and then any more than 25 people, we'll do a second one. There is no cap. So, for instance, if we get 100 people that do this, we'll be doing 4 coaching sessions for this. And it's a half an hour session. And then I'm going to throw it back to CK. He's going to do the deadline. What do you think about that, CK?
Yeah, I think that sounds pretty cool. I think we'll go ahead and obviously the guys, like the reason that we're doing this and the reason that Johnny's offering this for you guys is because the ratings mean a lot to us. So we do want you guys to go ahead and go over there and do that. So we will give you guys until I was gonna do it until lock tomorrow. This is like an act now kind of thing. It's a 2-game slate. There's not much going on here. Let's make things exciting. Let's take that time that you're going to have on a 2-game slate and put it to good use, and put it towards the podcast that you guys love to listen to. So I like that. So you got to do all this by 8 p.m. Eastern time, right? Is that when lock is for NBA?
Yeah.
Yes, there's your deadline. So that was cool, guys. Make sure you take advantage of that.
And then are we gonna pick the winner on the night show tomorrow night?
Tomorrow night, yes, great point. Tomorrow night, we're going to take all the names, put them in a hat, and we're actually going to draw those on tomorrow night's podcast. Yes, we're going to draw the winner.
Perfect.
So yeah, there you go. Before we get out of here, Cash, I'm going to go back to you, my man. What are your closing thoughts on this slate, man?
It's tough.
Is there a fettuccine Alfredo play? Because I know somebody came at me asking me why you didn't have one. And then I remember I asked you, and Cash was like, there wasn't one today. And you were right. There actually wasn't one today. So.
It would have been Embiid, but
no, it should have been Embiid.
Then the news would have been, nah, man, I didn't even play him. So, yeah. Oh, man, that's going to eat me, boy. Oh, man. Could have been a lovely day today.
The good thing is your article did say to play him. So at least you served the nation right. I know.
I mean, I did all right tonight. Like, I didn't lose everything because I had so much Gortat, but I had so much exposure to that game. Like, I had every player that mattered in that game except Embiid.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Like Ingram went off. Like
Embiid saved my life. Embiid and Gasol saved my life tonight.
But this slate, man, I don't know. I want to know. If people is going to game stack, they're going to game stack which one? Which one do y'all think? It's going to be Houston Phoenix, right? I mean, there's just so many ways you can do it because there's expensive and cheap.
They're going to have a higher total too.
Yeah. Oh, man, I don't know. Like, I say play one team unless you want to play 3. If you want to play 3, you stack one, you stack the other, and then you just, on the third one, you mix and match your favorite plays. And that would be your main team. But I mean, that's the way I would do it if I'm gonna play tomorrow. Like, I'm gonna play 3 teams.
Fair enough.
Damn, this slate is tough. Like, I don't know where I want to go right now. I don't know what I want to do.
Yeah, it is tough. Johnny, what are your thoughts here?
Everybody, just lower your expectations tomorrow. Don't go crazy. It's a 2-game slate. Don't put out your normal bankroll. This is when bankroll management comes into play. Don't get suckered into it. I know there's going to be, even though it's only a 2-game slate, there's going to be some big prizes out there. But just remember, even if you do pull down the big prize, you're probably going to tie with like 200 people. So
exactly.
I would try to tell you guys, if you're not, big volume players, don't start now. Try to keep it down to under 3 to 4 lineups. I would tell you, and just go from there.
And I would say one other thing. Like, when you put together your team and you look at it, you be like, damn, how can this team not lose? Please don't put it in nothing else. Like, don't just keep entering contests. Just leave it alone and wait.
Because everybody has that lineup.
Yeah, just don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do that, please. Like, because you're gonna put together your team, you're gonna be like, how in the world could this team ever lose? Just don't put it into a whole bunch of stuff. Just let it be. Be easy. Keep your money.
Go live
Move
your
on
life.
to the next day.
It's a good day to just go live your life.
And I got one more thing for the nation. Nation, don't be afraid to send me a DM if you have any questions in regards to this slate or any slate. I'm here for you guys. I want to help you guys succeed, and I want the nation to grow.
I appreciate that. There you go, guys. Hit him up on Twitter at GDaddy80. You guys know where to find CashinDFS. You can find him obviously at CashinDFS with no G. We're gonna get up out of here, guys. If you're watching on YouTube, please click that thumbs up. That like button means a lot to us. If you're listening on Podbean or iTunes, subscribe to us on iTunes. And again, we're doing a contest for those 5-star reviews, so there's no reason not to do it. Also, guys, don't forget. There's really no excuse to not to check out our premium stuff right now. We're running a free 7-day trial. You sign up for a monthly option, whether it be the All Sports plan or just the NBA only plan, and you get a free 7 days. If you're unhappy within the 7 days, you cancel. You don't pay anything. So there's really no excuse for you not to come try us out. And I really genuinely think that once you get a little bit of taste of what we got to offer, you're gonna find the value in it. So anyway, guys, don't forget to leave those 5-star reviews for CashinDFS. For Johnny the Greek, for myself, and the entire Wise Take Nation, as always, good luck.
Yes.